Hello, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to Canucks News you might have missed. And this is a jam-packed episode, the aftermath, the whole Quinn Hughes situation. We have some Elliotte Friedman stuff, Dreger stuff. We have Patrik Allvin on the 100% podcast as well. A lot of stuff. But you all know who else we have? Corey from at Vcanucksnews, the Canucks Army. How's it going, Corey? Welcome, my friend.
It was a busy recap day.
Yeah, it's a lot of extra work for you, but like always, go give him a follow. The guy is a beast when it comes to these recaps. All right, let's get to it. Max Sasson. Oh, where did he go? There he is. Max Sasson had a 2-year contract extension here for
Yep.
1 million AAV. Honestly, I like the deal. I think
Yep.
he's fast. He's developing. There's not really too much to say about it. I think it's pretty fair value.
He's a fun NCAA free agent signing, and the contract for next year is only 150 more than the new league minimum.
So we had on Sakaris and Price, they had Dreger on, so go give them some love as well. So on the Quinn Hughes trade, I'll start with this one, Corey. Not surprised at the timing. Red Wings and Devils couldn't make this type of deal in season. Didn't see the Wild stepping up. Everybody knew the Vancouver Canucks were talking to teams out in the East. Says fans in other markets should have questions for their managements because they were not willing to spend to acquire Quinn Hughes. The Rangers, what's an interesting name there, were interested, and the Buffalo Sabres, another interesting name, had strong conversations. That's actually kind of new there, Corey, because I knew they were kind of involved, but I guess the one thing out of that is, strong conversation. So if you're looking at Buffalo, is there anybody specifically you'd be thinking about targeting for Quinn Hughes there?
Yeah, the Canucks would have been asking for Bowen Byram because
Yeah.
Jim Rutherford loves him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be a package around Byram. Who knows, man?
Yeah,
Maybe
I have
Benson,
no
first
clue
rounder
how
or
to.
something. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
how they would put that together. No one is willing to fully disclose the players that were discussed. Something tells me within the next week we're going to know a lot more here when it comes to specific players. I think it's going to leak out. Rutherford has had a soft spot for Bowen Byram for a long time. The New Jersey Devils had considerable interest. Wasn't a money issue as they could have placed someone on LTIR. Canucks didn't like what the Devils had to offer. I don't think personally, I don't know, maybe they didn't like it, but I don't think it's so much they didn't like what they had to offer. I just think personally they just got better offers. And if
yeah,
you
it was
had to
the
choose
weakness.
between Nemec and Mercer over Zeev, Bouillon, and Ogren and all those guys, right? And Rossi, then I think it's just a no-brainer. I just feel like it's just a much better package. The Red Wings didn't have the depth on the roster to accommodate a trade, which is the other
I
team.
don't.
We talked about
Yeah,
quite a bit, Corey. That Detroit was a team that we were very much interested because they had a lot of really good assets, right?
yeah, they did. Drager's comment about that seemed really weird. They didn't have the depth on the roster to accommodate a trade. They absolutely did. I didn't get it when he said that, but okay.
Wild did not want to trade Bouillon, but recognized they needed a better roster to battle the Stars and Avalanche over the next 2 seasons. And I give a lot of credit to the Wild,
Hmm.
willing to make this gamble. And God, if you saw, did you hear those Quinn Hughes comments after? It didn't sound like he was just kind of. You know how when someone gets traded to team, it's just like, oh, they're just sugarcoating kind of nice things to say about it. No, Quinn Hughes really did seem like he was very, I don't know what the word, like happy, satisfied, or like proud, or I don't know what the word is. Like he gave the general manager so much credit that he's willing to pay the price to get a guy like thing, that loyalty of like, hey, we're gonna gamble on you, we're gonna give you a lot to get you. I think he really appreciated that. He even said, I believe, near the end, he said that he really appreciated that and he owes him one or something like that. I forgot what the exact term was. Do you remember exactly what Quinn said there?
I remember exactly what he said, but the thing with Hughes and the thing with making comments after you get traded, after your first win with your new team and going to the playoffs is, let's see how the next couple seasons actually go before we buy into anything that's being said, right?
I think, I personally think they need to figure it out by this offseason because if Quinn just says no to some monster package of 17 million times 8 or something crazy like that, then you might as well just trade him. He's not gonna sign him in Minnesota. Me personally, that's what I'm thinking.
Or the Wild just try to win a Stanley Cup with them in the next year.
There you go. Or
like,
next couple years, yeah.
Like you look at the upcut this season and then next season, and then if you have to trade him for a fifth or something or let him walk, you let him walk. But you tried. That's more than anyone else can say. And it sucks. You took a swing.
Gamble.
You took a swing and you missed, but you took a swing, and that's more than any other general managers are willing to do right now.
I wonder what New Jersey Devils is thinking, hearing some of those comments and how glowing Quinn Hughes was about that trade. I don't even know. It might have even been a little bit of a shot there against Fitzy, but anyways,
I'd say it was more a shot against Detroit because he specifically mentions how Minnesota is near Michigan.
Good point. Oh yeah,
like,
good point.
Very specifically said that. So it's like, okay, like if you're not going to pony up, but they're willing to pony up, and this is close enough to. He's basically saying this is close enough to where I want to be.
So thinks Bouillon has potential to be as good as Quinn Hughes. Well, that's real high praise from Darren Dreger. I think the Vancouver Canucks would be immensely happy if he turns into 75% of what Quinn Hughes is.
Oh yeah.
Personally, I think that would be an absolute home run slam dunk, considering all the other pieces you got as well in the deal, and considering that Quinn Hughes, like from all reports, and there is a lot of timeline on this now, there's a lot of people talking about, including the general manager, including the president of operations, that Quinn Hughes 3 weeks ago, something changed in his mind full time, and then 17 months ago, he was having doubts to stay. So if that's the case, well, then you got a pretty amazing package, considering he's most likely not going to stay with the Vancouver Canucks. So they've known for a long time that Hughes wasn't going to extend. Around the league, people feel the Canucks did really well. Marco Rossi doesn't think there was any lingering animosity between the Wild and him. Doesn't really fit what Guerin and Hines want in a forward. I think Rossi looked really good in the first game. It's going to be interesting to see if he can reproduce that 60-point season, if not get better. I like what Adam Foote actually said about him. Like, he makes a lot of the extremely smart, simple plays. He doesn't have to go crazy. He just really pinpoints the right play, everything. He's an incredibly smart player. So, I was pretty excited about
He plays like
that.
a center. If he was 2 feet taller, no one would, not 2 feet, 2 inches taller, whatever. Like if he was 6'1", right? If he was 6'1", no one would question him as being a center. It's because he's 5'9".
And he does play out front of the net, too, for his size. That's something that is important. Vancouver Canucks. Chance there's more of a teardown coming in the second half of the season will put themselves in a spot where they can quickly do a retool. When Rutherford leaves, he wants to put the Canucks in a better position than they got there. That's something actually Rutherford mentioned himself, is like whenever he does plan to move on eventually, he wants to put him in a very good position. And, as we all know, Rutherford's a very stubborn man as well. He doesn't want to leave on a bad note. I think he wants to set him up. And you know what? Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know it sucks losing Quinn, franchise guy, second best defense. I get it. But after hearing the timeline and everything and how it all broke down and what they got, considering he was most likely leaving, I think it is a slam dunk trade. They got value. And I've been listening to a lot of different podcasts outside of Vancouver to kind of get a feel of what other teams are saying and around other markets, because I was curious. And it's almost universal. They're saying not only did the Wild do well, they're saying the Vancouver Canucks did really well in this trade. And that's something I've noticed as well.
Canucks did great. They did about as well as you could possibly do in this situation. I think they kind of set a new standard.
By the way, guys, if you guys want to be a part of this amazing community that we're building here, you feel free to if you like it. Subscribe. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. It's been amazing. We're still a fairly new channel. I think we've only been up for about 5 months or so. I bring guests all the time. Corey is a regular here, an absolute legend here. And if you guys want to be a part of this and hang out in the streams and all that stuff, subscribe. It would really be nice if you guys join in, and also follow Corey on Twitter. But let's be honest, if you're a Canucks fan, you already do. Let's be honest. Canucks management haven't heard any heat on Allvin. Doesn't get a sense that there's a fractured relationship between Allvin and Rutherford. Rutherford can ran trade negotiations for Hughes from the beginning, was working in concert with Allvin. That was a comment because apparently, Rutherford said he took over because he has a lot of his plate or something like that.
Yes, a lot on his plate, which is a really, really, really odd thing. But I think
it's a weird
there's
one.
a little bit of an odd relationship in the Canucks compared to other teams where you have the president of hockey operations who is pretty hands-on at the best of times. So in this case, I think specifically it became a thing where like Rutherford and Guerin have an incredibly strong relationship, and so does Allvin and Guerin. Like they all work really closely together. So
yeah, let's not kid around though. Like Rutherford's running the show in Vancouver. We all know that. And this is
well, the big picture decisions he is right. I like signing Max Sasson.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's not Rutherford.
You're telling me he didn't call Rutherford at 4 a.m. in the morning to sign Max Sasson?
You got to sign Max Sasson. Come on.
All right, that's not a slight at Sasson. I actually do really like the guy. All right, Landon Ferraro and Shannon there had the 100% podcast with Patrik Allvin. Oh, you want to rock this one out?
Sure. Sure. I'll not do a Swedish accent though when I do it because I think that might be. It's not offensive. It's just I sound like the Swedish chef. Has mixed feelings about dealing a player as good as Hughes. Duh. Was important for the Canucks to maximize the return. Got what they needed from the Wild to put the franchise in a good position moving forward. Two of the players they acquired were only 20 years old, and the Canucks relied more on the amateur staff's expertise in evaluating them. The professional staff weighs in to determine how those players are developing. It was a question posed by Ferrero about like how do you use your various departments to make a trade like this. I thought it was a really interesting question. And the idea was like typically you would use your professional department to do the in-person scouting. But
a little bit of the insider kind of how it works.
Yeah, like how is that going to work? And he's like, well, in this case, because we got young players who we had scouted extensively at the draft, and they're very new to the NHL, we actually really leaned more on the amateur staff here, which I thought that was like, oh, that's an interesting kind of change and jumping over to the amateur stuff. Like, what did you guys see? The analytic department gathers information, and it's a good sign when the analytics and eye test match. Both teams got what they wanted. Was important to get players who are currently in the NHL as opposed to college or junior age prospects. Important to be composed, level-headed, and listen to your staff when dealing with trade discussions. Mentions this is where Rutherford's experience comes in. Was very difficult for Hughes, and you can see it in his body language, was hanging over him and his teammates. Do you have a comment on that one?
Well, I always hate like kind of trying to read what a person's feeling based off body language, but you know, especially considering now we know kind of a bit of the timeline and how he felt in the last 3 weeks. I guess it makes it's more. I guess you can pinpoint it a lot more, and it does make a lot of sense. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
it was he stopped playing in a couple
which we've
moments.
never seen before. This is Quinn Hughes, and he was the he was the captain of our team at the time.
And he's an obsessive competitor is the thing, exactly. And he literally stopped skating on plays that he could have skated and just got the puck, and he didn't. And it's one of the strange things that everyone pointed out at, and it turns out that lines up perfectly for when it sounds like he kind of said, "I'm not re-signing." Had some individual discussions with some of the players, and relayed the plan and direction of the team. Players understand that it's a business and why they are on in this situation. Think some of the players thought this would be coming in the off season. Jokes that he wished he had a cold beer on the Friday night. Instead, all the players went out for like a team dinner after the game and on Friday, not after
that last part though. Interesting. Think some of the players thought this would be coming in the off season. I don't know. That's an actually interesting little tidbit there, because if that's the case, are some of those players some of the older veteran players? And if they're some of the older veteran players and they wanted to, win, and they probably believe that having Quinn Hughes would increase that odds of winning, which is Quinn Hughes, then maybe they might be having some behind the scenes conversations right now. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I think you're reading a bit too much into it. Hockey players are weird.
Yeah.
Some of them just go, no, I will say, here and I want to live here.
I'm curious if the next week we're going to hear some leaked reports on if there's any players specifically, maybe not the names, but if there's any players that are kind of maybe thinking about moving forward that maybe we don't expect, not like the obvious names, like someone maybe like, I doubt it, right? Because I think Garden's not thinking like this, but like Garland, for example.
Garland is the only one that he's actually the most obvious one. He's the only one that jumps out to me. Like, I don't really see anyone else having that. Like, Myers doesn't want to leave, Marcus Pettersson, Heroic, DeBrusque, Besser. Like, those guys are specific guys who want to be in Vancouver and are kind of like really, really into being in Vancouver. Garland seems to be as well, but he didn't like it. There are rumors about him not liking it, and then also he's really close, insanely close friends with Hughes. So
Interesting.
he'd be the most obvious one.
The one on DeBrusque was interesting because I did remember he specifically said he wanted to come to this team to win and to play with Pettersson. Those are two things that he did mention. Moving forward, are a team in transition period and have a lot of young players playing well. Mentions how Hronek, Marcus Pettersson, Demko, Myers, DeBrusque, Besser, Garland, etc. are key in help. Well, he didn't name the whole team there.
No, he literally said etc. He literally said etc. I had I paused it and stared, and then
I know, I heard it. I
just have to write etc. Like, it's so funny to me. He's like, etc. I'm like, oh. Okay.
Are key in helping the team transition to where they want to be. We'll teach the young players how to be professionals. That's true. We need some veterans to teach some of these young guys to be professionals. I think that's very, very much the case. Had to pivot and face reality over the last 2 years. After their playoff run, thought they were in well positioned, but things happened last year and continued into this year. That derailed that. Zeev Buium, watched him at the last 2 World Juniors and at the Men's World Championship. He has great swagger and personality, very offensive-minded, but understands the importance of defending. Points out how Ogren, Buium, Lekkerimäki, and Willander have all played against each other internationally. Something I wanted to mention on Leon Ogren there. I'll finish this part. A strong, well-built kid, close to a power forward, is a north-south skater of a great shot, good personality too. What is your take on potentially either A or B? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 options just for fun. Okay?
All right.
You can either call up Lekkerimäki, who's on an absolute heater, and play him with Ogren, or maybe just play him on the same team on the main roster or whatever. Or would you send down Ogren and play him with Lekkerimäki and build some of that chemistry, and then call them both up together? I guess C. There's a C. Or you just call up Lekkerimäki and put down Ogren. Out of those 3 options, which one would you do?
B would be my option because the right side is too crowded for Lekkerimäki, and he would still just be put on the 4th line getting 6 minutes a game.
Yeah,
you need to clear space for him to be called up. I love the idea of Ogren, Ratu, Lekkerimäki, and give that line like 3rd line top 6 minutes. Like,
well, listen, I know it's crazy because Ratu's been playing so well and he's getting healthy scratch, which makes no sense. But hey, if the Canucks don't want to play him, just send him. Can you even send him down? Does he have to clear waivers? Yeah.
Ratu? Yeah. No, he's not waiver exempt. He needs waivers. That's why.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I was going to just say, screw it. Just send him down, make that line, and dominate the AHL and set them all up together. If you're not going to play Ratu for whatever godforsaken reason, you might as well. But obviously, that's not the case here. Or here's an idea. Play Aatu Ratu, who's been amazing, and not amazing, but like really good for us for a while now. Just because he makes one bad mistake does not mean you have to sit the guy. Come on, Foot, for God's sakes.
Mr. Doodle, are you suggesting that the Vancouver Canucks play a center, an actual center, a center who can win faceoffs, mind you, over O'Connor, a man who is very clearly not a center? Is that what you are suggesting? Craziness, I say.
Corey, hot take here. They're doing it because they want to show, regardless if it works, the rest of the league that Drew O'Connor can play both wing and centered. That elevates his trade value for a potential trade moving forward. Hot take.
Very generous of you to say that.
Or maybe they just want to play him because of maybe. But like, there's other guys you could remove. Like, it's not exactly like the most stacked roster in the NHL. Let's be honest. All right, that's. That was it on that. Quinn Hughes trade.
I was going to say, I think the Canucks are trying to, like, they do really, really want to clear room, especially on the wings, to make room for Lekkerimäki and to, I don't want to say force, but really elevate their young players into significant minutes instead of the minimum that they're getting now.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, if you're thinking about how, like, okay, for example, with the Canucks and the depth, guys, if you go out and trade Kane and Sherwood right now, I think people would be fine with it. But at the same time, if you do send those guys down, you could, they're going to get traded by the deadline anyway. You can then call them up and they can play the rest of the season. You don't have to play them now, play them now because you can have, maybe you want to elevate the value. Maybe Kane's value is just so low you can't even get rid of him right now. Who knows? But
His
Sherwood,
value is fine. Like,
well,
I
he's
don't
in a fifth
get
rounder for him. I think that's what you're going to get for him. I don't think you're going to get more.
third. The traditional. Like, I did a whole article on it. It's a third and a later mid round, so a third and a fifth at 50% retained, which is what's going to have to happen anyway with him. And the Canucks have 2 retention slots.
I would be very happy with that return.
Yeah,
Corey.
me too.
Very happy.
But that's a deadline deal. Like, that's at the deadline
correct.
that you pay that up. Like, that's the thing with him. Like, maybe you'll get LA going goo goo gaga for him right now.
Elliotte Friedman here. You want to take this one or you want me to do it?
Yeah, I'll do this one. Which Friedman hit is this one?
Oh, this is the 32 thoughts.
Okay. Oh boy, yeah. This is like inside baseball. I didn't listen to the whole 32 thoughts because I stopped after all the Quinn Hughes trade related stuff. Once he started talking about the Oilers, I dipped out.
Fair enough.
There was, because I had a lot more to recap. The Quinn Hughes trade. No one thought this trade was going to happen in season. Strong belief it was going to be a 2026 draft day trade or around then.
Mm-hmm.
Heard over the summer that there were rumors that Hughes told the Canucks he would not re-sign. Sources swore. Ooh, I spelled that wrong. Swore that was false. Heard last week the Canucks asked for a trade, or that Hughes asked for a trade, but sources denied this. Very clear that we are dealing with some levels of semantics. What he means by that is that, like, Hughes didn't ask for a trade, but he went to the team and said, hey, I'm not going to re-sign.
Exactly.
Kind of implying like, oh, everyone understands that this is the best case scenario. So it's like, no, he didn't ask for a trade. Like, yeah, but
officially didn't ask for a trade, but basically
it's kind of like the Miller thing. It's like, yeah, he didn't block any trades anywhere else with his no move clause, but the Canucks knew he really only wanted to go to the Rangers. So they didn't ask him to block anything. So very similar situation where you're just going like, okay, come on. Sometime before American Thanksgiving, he informed the Canucks he would not be resigning. Canucks and his agent decided that the news would leak and a trade needed to happen. So no formal trade request, but once he said he wasn't resigning, it was time to move on. Could see how much he was struggling when talking to the media. Oh yeah. Canucks talked to him about setting the tone properly. Friedman didn't know the Wild were involved until the trade happened. Imagine being Elliotte Friedman and you're covering this, right? Like the previous
They did a good
Saturday,
job keeping it secret.
You dropped the bomb, or it was the Friday basically saying like, Hughes is being shopped, and the Saturday, like, you're just dropping bomb after bomb after bomb, and all of a sudden you're Friedman and you get a call, a text, or something. It just said to the Wild. You're like, oh, I didn't get this at all. Like, just being so wrong about it is, and even he says like, he's just flabbergasted that this is the way it worked out. Guerin understood that when Rutherford signals he's ready to trade, you don't fool around. And you can see this. Like, you see this. That was their first trade. That was the first offer, and the Canucks kind of shopped it around a bit and went, yep, good.
Yeah, I do want to mention that Guerin's interview after the trade was awesome. His conference.
It was fun.
Oh man, I love the way he speaks to the media. It seems so natural, and he seems very honest. I just thought it's a great listen. You guys, whoever's watching this after this, if you have some time, go listen to it. It's actually really good.
Meatballs. Talks about the Joe Thornton trade, how the Bruins didn't want negotiations to leak and targeted the Sharks. A bunch of other teams said they could have made a better offer. This is not a deal where that happened. Hughes is I keep saying Hughes is like Flanders is. Hughes' admiration for Guerin trading a lot to acquire him is not a show for the media and fans, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Well, you did. You're like, I think that's real. Thinks there were teams who were looking at acquiring him and offer a contract that would let him be a UFA at the same time as Jack Hughes. I thought that was interesting.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Vancouver Canucks personality clashes dismantled the core, which is just so ridiculous. I don't want to rant again. All right.
Yeah.
Canucks wouldn't clarify because it'll literally be like another hour on this video. Canucks wouldn't clarify things to Friedman on Saturday. They did not want to slander Hughes and also wanted to just move forward. Fair enough. Bouillon has loads of energy, will drag his teammates into the fight. I have noticed the energy of Bouillon, not just on the ice, but like he's a great interview, by the way, off the ice as well. Marco Rossi will get a chance to be a top 2 center. Believes he'll be a consistent 60 to 70 point center. Question is whether he can develop into a two-way force. The Wild doubt that he can develop further. Personally, I need to see more if I can believe that, but I just need to see. I just need to see how he
we've
looks.
watched one game as a Canuck.
Like, give me a half a season or a full season to really get a feel of what kind of a player he is. It's been one game, and I thought the one game he looked good. Ogren was a point-a-game player in the AHL. That is important to mention. He is a point-a-game player in the NHL, like AHL. So he did put up stats. So this isn't some, Joe Schmo can't score. Like, he can score in the pro leagues. It's just, can he make that jump? He's so young. Let's give him a couple of years and see how he rocks.
He's a legitimate recent first-round pick. With I've always figured he was profiled more as a third liner.
And he looked good in that first game too. I thought he looked great.
He has great physical talents and everything. It's just putting it all together, right?
If he doesn't score, he'll be a Pontus Holmberg type. That'll be a very useful player. We'll play out the season and then reevaluate in the summer. Are not done yet. Have other players on the trade block. Yes, it's obvious they're not done. Rutherford did mention they are going to be looking for draft capital in these trades or potentially a really good young player, but they're not looking or interested in trading the first-round draft picks, which is important to hear him actually say it, because if he does trade it, then we can give him more crap if he did. And I think almost every single person I've talked to is universal in saying that please do not trade our first-round draft pick unless, and this is the debate I've been having with people, unless you get a guy like Kent Johnson, but some people don't even want that because they're saying then we're going to be, much better, and then that does really affect our draft positions for the next couple of years, which means that we're not going to be as bad, which means our top picks we're not going to get those super
I never
elite
like
players.
that. I never like that argument.
Yeah,
I don't want a good.
I have heard that though.
I've heard it too, but I don't like the argument that I don't want good players on the team because it's going to make us a better team when those players are like 20 and 21.
But it is important though. If we do trade that first, it better be for someone with an extremely high upside, not potential.
I mean, that's what Rutherford said.
Yeah.
Like he full on said that.
Yes,
he
and
said,
after
I'm
watching,
not trading. The only reason we would trade it would be for a very young, good NHL player. So,
and after listening to that Rutherford interview, you can clearly you could tell like he was not just careful about it, but he meant what he was saying. Like you could see that
he always means what he's saying. That's Jim Rutherford. That's the problem, and the joy of Jim Rutherford. He there's no filter. He just says what he wants to say.
All right, the Minnesota Wild have to fight in the Avalanche and Wild. According to the roster to win now, we'll continue to look for a center. You know what? Crazy. Just quickly, like 30 seconds on this. Apparently, they might be interested in looking at Sidney Crosby because there's such a connection there. And can they convince a guy like Crosby to go over to Minnesota Wild? Just something to think about near the deadline.
The Penguins are in the playoffs right now.
If the Penguins go on an absolute massive losing streak. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm telling you that's what I heard
I'm saying
today.
It's not. Also, I made a mistake. Have to fight the Avalanche and Stars, not themselves.
Oh, okay. It's okay. I forget.
This is the whole thing why they made this trade is basically the Wild over the next 2 seasons are thinking we need to beat, like if we're going to go anywhere, we have to get through those 2 teams. How do we do it? Quinn Hughes is the best available player we can get to do that.
Or they're subliminally messaging they have to beat the Avalanche and themselves to upgrade their roster.
I mean, the Wild have got in their own way over the years, yes.
All right, New Jersey Devils doesn't believe that Fitzgerald's job is in danger. I do wonder about this moving forward here, because they've been on a real bad run here since Jack Hughes got hurt.
Yeah.
Which
they're
obviously
really
you lose that guy. But people thought like with Jack Hughes, they thought they were a contender. Well, if they're such a contender and Jack Hughes goes down, shouldn't the rest of them be able to at least pick up some wins without Jack? I understand Jack's good, but like, are they literally Jack Hughes away from being a contender? Like that, I always thought they were. I know Nemec is now injured, but like, even other than Jack, like Who is
There
it?
was a lot of. I'd have to look at the roster again. I was looking at it before the game. There's like something like 8 of their regulars are all out, including Hughes. Like
Oh,
it is
okay.
it
Maybe
is
it's a
a
lot more.
it's a lot more, and it's not just like the high end. There's some high end guys, but it's like a lot of their bottom 6 guys too. So you're
Mm.
playing Angus Crookshank, who amazing name if you're like fighting Robin Hood, but otherwise that's not really an NHL player.
That's funny. Um, also, by the way, a friend of mine, New Jersey Devils friend of mine, is just so pissed off. This is the stuff he's feeding me. So thought I'd share it. I don't know anything what's really going on there. All right, had some trades vetoed by no trade clauses. Had some trades vetoed by no trade clauses. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Devils couldn't beat the wow. That is very interesting. Devils couldn't beat the Wild's offer for Hughes. Thinks the best they could do is Simon Nemec, Mercer plus. That plus better be plus. Was told to keep an eye on the Devils leading up to the deadline. A source said the Devils backed away from some other things once they knew they weren't getting Quinn Hughes. So shorthanded,
So shorthanded
so
that they
shorthanded
could
they can trade players for cap
cap
space and
space.
not immediately get someone else. And
Yeah,
have linked to Ryan
or have
O'Reilly.
liked,
Have
not linked
liked,
to, have
sorry.
liked
Oh,
Ryan
well, I
O'Reilly.
butchered that one. It's okay. You guys will forgive me. You guys love me in this community. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Elliotte Friedman on Don and Donnie.
You got your 2 Freeds today.
We got 2 Friedman newses, so just for you guys. I'll let you do it, buddy. I know you
Okay.
want to do it. You're itching to go. Let's go.
Okay, Kevin Adams getting fired was kind of expected. A lot of noise in the past couple days when the Sabres went 3-3 on their 6-game road trip. Yeah, this was like kind of leaked over the weekend, but was
Mm-hmm.
speculated all last week as well. And I mean, that's been speculated for years, so not a surprise. Was shocked about Minnesota being the team, didn't see it coming. There were rumors that a trade could happen any day. Was clear that once his name was out there, a trade was coming soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is, that's kind of Freeman's MO, right? Like if he's
Mm-hmm.
doing a written 32 thoughts, or if he's just like has a thing typed out, or it means something is imminent, like the next day, basically. The Canucks next steps. Teams shouldn't be so scared of saying rebuild. Weren't going to say rebuild while Hughes was there, but now you can say it a little more freely. Don't think this is going to be a full teardown. Aren't going to make short-term fixes or bad short-term moves. Will let the year play out and reevaluate after the season. Thinks the Canucks' upcoming UFA's names are out there. I mean, we know they are. They put them out there in a
Mm-hmm.
memo. Doesn't think anyone on the team is asking out. Everyone needs to take a step back and wrap their heads around the Hughes trade. Will be really difficult to bottom out if Demko is healthy. He relayed that in relation to the Flames. Apparently, this is part
Mm-hmm.
of the problem the Flames have. Is the Flames think Dustin Wolf is so good that no matter how bad they make the roster, they're never going to fully bottom out.
I will say this about the whole not going to be doing a full teardown. I think it's going to be a 3-year retool, and I really hope they keep to this 3-year plan. I think that would be perfectly fine if they actually treat it as a 3-year plan and not 1 year, suddenly get some draft picks, make the picks, and then run it back the next year. Or even a 2-year. I still feel like you need more capital, you need more luck, you still have too many holes to fill to just do a 2-year flip. I think 3 years would be a nice number. Some people say 4, 5, 6, but I think 3 years you could make it. It's realistic enough for, in my opinion, that you could at least somewhat make it work. But it's still going to be very hard, and it's going to cause. You're going to need a lot of luck in the draft lottery, and you're going to need a lot of luck with this people you're selecting, and you got to draft well. So make sure your scouting staff, your amateur scouting staff, and now all the guys doing your scouting are on the ball and really picking the right guys, because we don't have to pick a goalie. We have Medvedev coming in, we got that. So you got to get those wingers, and we got to get those centers. So defense, I think we can draft 1 or 2 more, but defense, we're pretty decent spots.
You always drafty. You never.
But
don't
I'm saying, but if you have now where we are, I think if you have 2 equal talents between, I know usually I would say draft V over a winger, but if they're 2 equal, I think there's just more of a need right now for an elite winger than an elite defenseman. But that's just me personally.
Yeah, but it's also a hypothetical situation, right? You get there and
Sure.
you got a winger, a defenseman, and you go, well, we're gonna. I mean, that's what leads you to taking Olli Juolevi over Matthew Tkachuk, because you convince yourself that they're equal.
God, I don't. Let's
just
get
as an
in.
example, a hypothetical
Don't do
scenario.
this
No
to
one
me.
would do that in their right time. Z Buyum was compared to the Tasmanian Devil, energetic, determined, and competitive. I don't know if all those are the things I would describe the Tasmanian Devil, but sure. Uh, Blocked on the Wild. What he meant was they've got Brock Faber
Mm,
and Jonas Brodin
mm,
and a more veteran defense, and also the team itself obviously wants to win the Stanley Cup. They want to push
mm,
forward, and you can't, or it's not that you can't, but they were willing to give him up because they didn't feel they could properly develop him while
mm,
also going for that goal.
mm,
Was the best player available offered in a trade. I thought this was nice, like when Friedman does this. His message to Canucks fans: he wouldn't have a job without Canucks fans. And he says, hey, he's planning on coming out for the Canucks for Kids telethon this year.
Yeah, the Canucks for
And
Kids telethon is amazing. By the way, the amount of money they donate and the people coming together and getting a lot of the legends coming out and a lot of media guys come out and help and outside the market as well, like Friedman. It's great. It's a great cause, and definitely pitch in and donate if you can around that time and help support for sure.
Friedman donates. He said this multiple times. He
Mm,
donates his appearance fee on Donnie and Dolly to the Canucks for Kids Foundation.
mm, amazing.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. So, guys, that is lengthy, great Canucks news you might have missed. Corey, thank you so much for joining us. And there's going to be more videos with Corey coming up here. We have a couple ones we're thinking about, but he's a regular guest here. So please go out and follow him on all his socials, mostly on Twitter. And maybe one day I can convince his ass to get a YouTube channel so he could actually get tagged in these videos properly. That would be
I
great.
have kids. I have a family. I can barely handle one social media at this point. That's actually the problem I have.
Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Drop a like, drop a sub if you guys enjoyed it. Have a good day.